Welcome viewers, Syndrome here with Breaking the Stream Gaming. On today's episode, I'm going to be doing a highlight reel of a map that I just finished, which resulted in a 40-turn victory on brutal settings with 8 allied AI versus me. I have a slight tweak on my vassal farming method, courtesy of Resimars, another member of Breaking the Stream. Resimars pointed out a skill in the Empire Development tree under Order that actually supplements my strategy very, very well, and it let me cut 5 turns off my previous fastest win. So let me get started here. I'm going to just show you my new faction, and then I'll walk you through the method. So obviously we just do a standard realm. Nothing special about that. I'm not going to bother with any of this because I already did it. So, for the new faction, though, what I did was... actually, this isn't it. I took spider mounts, because that is a very... actually, wait, did I? Yeah, I did. Spider mounts. It's a very powerful early and late game ability. Frankly, it's a little bit overpowered. But, you know, while it's still in its current form, I'm going to make use of it. I also stuck with sneaky. Now, the biggest change, though, is instead of taking the dark culture, which I've taken previously, I've now started taking the high culture. This is exclusively for the Order affinity. For society traits, I'm sticking with Adept Settlers and Scions of Evil for all the same reasons that I've used them previously. Adept Settlers just for the discount in founding cities, and Scions of Evil for the increased Imperium. So for my tomes, I found that I needed to take the Order tomes to make this method work, right from the bat. So I think I started with Faith or Zeal. I think I probably started with Zeal. And I played as a Wizard King, and I chose to use a bow. So that is it. I'm going to skip ahead to the game which I already launched, and I will show you the method from there. Okay, here we find ourselves at the start of the match. Pretty standard starting location. I don't actually think I ever even cleared these guys out. So what I did was I sent my stack off to the right here to clear this mana node, and then I set up a city, right about here. I'll just explore that a little bit just to show you what we're looking at. So my vassal city is actually right here, and I went to war with them much right off the bat, but they actually have a pretty strong starting stack. So what I ended up doing was I dropped an outpost down here in this sector, but I didn't actually turn that into my first city. I built my first city up here in this sector. Now, if you take a look, there's this nice little gap here between this sector and this sector. So my original plan was I was going to annex both of these and then use that as my vassal farming starting point. It didn't actually work out that way, so let me go ahead and skip forward to turn 11. Okay, here we find ourselves on turn 11. At this point, I have dropped down that outpost I mentioned, and I built the city of Lucerna here and released it as a vassal, and then promptly conquered it. Now that I can access the Empire Development tree, let me walk you through the new method and why I'm focused on Order instead of focusing on Shadow. So my previous strategy relied on the Shadow tree. I would start with knowledge extraction, and then I would go all the way until I reached stolen power. This was a really powerful combination, but Resimars found a skill that is even better than stolen power. So I do have the Scions of Evil trait, which means that as of turn 11, I was able to access knowledge extraction, which is a fundamental part of the strategy. But there was a skill in the Order tree that supplements it to a ridiculous degree. And it is this skill here, Benevolent Conquerors. So ignore the first sentence there. The important part is converting conquered cities into vassals takes -1 turn. Okay, ordinarily, when you release a vassal city, it'll take usually 4 turns to convert it into a vassal. So ordinarily this -1 turn isn't that big of a deal. Except that if you have a population 3 city that you're releasing as a vassal, it only takes 1 turn to do that. And yes, this -1 turn does make that an instant action that you can repeat multiple times a turn. Basically, as long as you still have movement points to take out the defending stack, you can conquer one city. Let's see, I think my record right now is about 60 times in a turn. So that's the new method. Stolen power, really not necessary. You're not going to get the mana out of this that you would from there, but your gold production is insane. We're talking like 6,000 or 7,000 a turn, which lets you field any conventional army, any number of heroes that you want. So that's the method. Let me go over what I've done here real quick. Like I said, I dropped down this outpost, and I'm actually converting this into my first city that I'm going to hold. I dropped an outpost here, built a city, and then released it. This is my first farming city, now that I do have knowledge extraction. And I went to war with I'm going to call it my free city companion. But they actually have really strong defenders here. This stack plus this stack, there's another stack filled with tier 3s on this hex here. And then you've got this stack up here. Basically, there's an equivalent stack down here for that. But 2 Awakeners, a couple tier 2s, this is more than I can handle, especially since you can't actually attack the city without bringing in the army stack that is on the pasture here. So I wasn't able to conquer the city for quite a while. Actually, almost until the end of this run. So instead, I was going to raise up this outpost and turn this into a farming city. I'm also building my 3rd city up here in this sector, just so that I can claim some land for better healing. Let me go ahead and skip now to turn 16, I think should do it. Okay, here we find ourselves on turn 16. Now, at this point, I've already set up my 2nd vassal city to farm, and I'm basically running back and forth between the two using my leader stack to kill them all. There actually has been some aggression from the yellow AI. They've been fielding pretty tough stacks, but my leaders are beefy enough that I've been able to hold them off. I've taken some casualties, but it hasn't really been an issue so far. I still haven't been able to take on my free city here. They've actually started coming together with some raiding army stacks that have been not really giving me trouble, but kind of dividing my focus, so things haven't been quite as efficient as I would like. So I now do have 3 cities. I'm focused on producing mana structures in these. Well, not yet, I guess, because mana is actually the limiting factor on this. In order to build all 3 of the Magic Victory structures, it takes, 900 mana in total? So given that I'm only producing like 50 a turn, and that's with no summoned units, it was actually kind of a reach to get to this in 25 turns. But, yeah, so this is purely standard, the same way as I've been doing it previously up to this point. Let me go ahead and skip to turn 21, and that will be kind of the turning point of the match. Okay, here we find ourselves on turn 21. Now, if you watch my other videos, you'll know that on turn 21, the heroes that defend vassal cities level up to level 5 here. So at this point, we're gaining 500 research a turn from farming these 2 vassal cities. I eventually was able to conquer my free city companion, and I was going to turn them into a farmable vassal, but I found that I actually was able to achieve a tier 5 tome by the time this would have finished being raised. So instead, I just absorbed it into my empire so that I could use it for its mana production. Let's see, I also built the Seat of Order to get the nice 20% reduction on order skills. My order affinity is 14 because I've researched nothing but order tomes. And let's see, what else is there? I faced more aggression, but I was able to fend it off. I'm up to 5. Yeah, I still have 5 heroes, and I'm just shuttling them back and forth between these 2 cities in order to farm that research. Now, all of my cities are producing mana buildings at this point because I only have 4 turns to come up with a lot of mana. Let's see. I don't really think there's much else of significance on this turn. So let me go ahead and skip to turn 24, which is where the new method really comes into play. Okay, here we are on turn 24. Now, my method of focusing on mana buildings has worked. It's done its job. I'm now sitting at 634 mana with 197 of income. So next turn, I'll have over 800, which will be all I need to fast produce the Root and the Heart of Order. Now, on this turn, as a result of my 16 Order Affinity, I actually reached the necessary affinity to take Benevolent Conquerors, but unfortunately, I had spent too much Imperium, so I actually don't have enough Imperium to take it. So I'm going to have to wait until next turn to do that. Let's see. So I do have still those same cities which are being farmed. I faced some more aggression from yellow up here, but really not too bad. I've mostly just been killing their heroes for extra research as they come. So let me go ahead and end turn here, and I'll show you how this works on turn 25. Did I? Yeah. So if you'll see here, I've got a stack of 5 scouts. I've got another scout there and another scout there. So what is that? 7 scouts. I'm also producing scouts in Solaria and Aubade there. And I probably should have produced them in Silvercourt and Pinnacle as well, but I didn't think of it at the time. Okay, now here is where this method becomes absolutely ridiculous. I can now take Benevolent Conquerors. Done. And now I don't need to deal with Pavilios up here ever again. I'm going to focus my efforts entirely on Lucirna here. So let me go ahead and declare war. Now that I've declared war, let's see, are you within 3? You might be too close. Okay, well, I'll just deal with it. Alright, I'm going to take my scout here, and I'm going to attack this stack. Obviously, I have 6 decently leveled heroes. There is not going to be any resistance here. And I win! Hey, how about that? So, now that I have Benevolent Conquerors, though, I can do this. Oh, look! Lucirna has a new defending stack. Why don't I just go ahead and declare war on them, and then let's attack them again. Oh, hey, how about that? Let me do that over and over and over and over again. I'm not going to subject you to watching me do this for the next half hour, but I could, because each time I do this, it's only taking 10 movement points on one of my units. Now, eventually, these guys will die. So this guy is now out of movement points, so he's kind of worthless to me. This one up here was... Oh, actually, he had to retreat, so he's worthless too. But I still have these 6, so let's just go ahead and start in with the next unit. And so on. And so on. And so on. I think that at this point, you see what I'm going for here. So yeah, you can do this as often as you want, as long as you have units to trigger the encounter. You can also, of course, use your hero units to do the same thing. I'm just starting with the scouts because the scouts tend to die quick, and I'm okay with that. Their entire purpose is just to serve as triggers for the hero stack. Yeah, so why don't I go ahead and skip to later in the turn, and I'll show you what the end result of this is. Okay, I have now run through every one of my units and used all of their movement, triggering fights against the vassal city of Lucirna. And what is the end result of that? Well, if you take a look over here, you can see that there are currently 95, I'm going to call these Empire notifications. So if I click on that, you'll see, oh yes, my heroes leveled up a lot, as did my ruler. But in addition to that, there's also a bunch of corpses that have been made. This poor Sevinium family has been massacred by my forces. So if I go to the crypt here, you'll see that I've got a couple corpses in here, all from the same family. Those poor buggers. Yeah, so I think step one is let's go ahead and sell all of these corpses. Wow, there are so many corpses in here that it's actually lagging when I choose to sell the remains. Now, I did already sell a few of these because I wanted to look for some extra pieces of gear that would help us. Didn't really find anything, but, you know, plenty of tier 2 stuff. Let's just keep making our way through here. Okay, and now we're down to the last food. Alright, so after doing all that and before selling equipment, we are up to 6,500 gold. I wish I had looked to see how much I had when I started the turn, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't 6,000. In addition to that, we also have a ludicrous amount of equipment that we can sell. How much do you say? This much. That's a lot of dread spiders. Okay, you know what? Actually, why don't we just go ahead and sell this too? Oh, this is going to take a hot minute. I'm still on the spiders. Alright, now I'm into the actual pieces of gear. Some of the armor is only selling for 14, but pretty much everything else sells for 28. No tier 3 or tier 4 equipment. That is extremely rare. I think I've ever only found 1, maybe 2 pieces of it. And I have killed a lot of heroes. But they do have a chance of dropping it. I have seen a couple of pieces of tier 4 from heroes before. So it's not impossible. Just pretty unlikely. Okay, what are we at now? Looks like we're going to break 9,000. So yeah, like I said, I didn't pay attention to what my starting point was, but I'm pretty sure that we made about at least 8,000 gold this turn. Let's see. Oh yeah, 8,000 gold. That's okay. There's also my research surplus, which is currently sitting at 13,000. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and, I don't know, research everything else that we need. So let's see. I'll just keep picking the least expensive one. I've got 13,000 research in the bank, so I don't think I'm going to run out. At least not till I have everything that I need. Hey, that'll finish this tome. So now we're on to the tier 4 tomes. Note, I started this turn on tier 3 tomes. Yeah, and we're gonna research our way clear through tier 4 this turn. Alright, Eagle Riders. And then let's get Tribunal. And Mighty Meek. Oh, and why don't we take the Baron's Palace? And hey, we're done with that tome. Now let's take the Tome of Exaltation. We are currently sitting pretty on 8,869 remaining. And let's see. Salvation. And Condemn Army. And with Condemn Army, we will finish this tome, and we will gain access to the Tome of the God Emperor. And with that, despite having, an additional 5,000 research, we're done. We now have access to the Heart of Order. I don't really like any of these, but it doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and finish researching stuff, because why not? Don't even need to take the cheapest ones anymore. Let's just take whatever. Hey, finish that tome too. Oh, sure. Why don't we just go right into the Tome of Summoning?
Through the art of summoning, one may become a...
And hey, we're finally out of our research surplus. Okay, now we've unlocked the Heart of Order, so let's go ahead and fast produce some of these. So let's take the Heart of Order, and why don't we put it over, oh, I don't know, right over here. Keep that nice and close, and we'll just hurry production on that. And then let's go to Albaid here, and we'll build the Root of Order. And why don't we put that here? I guess that's as close as we can get. And we'll just hurry production there as well. And with that, we have the Age of Order unlocked on turn 25, which will give us a turn 40 victory, assuming that I can hold against, well, against that, I guess. Yeah, so let's go ahead and cast the Age of Order spell. What does this do for us? Minus 50% mana and casting points. Okay, that's good. Each turn in combat, a random ally gains 3 positive benefits and loses all negative. That's pretty great. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's the victory condition. Alright, having cast that, we've got 15 turns that we need to hold. What else is there? Oh, right, I still need to level up all my heroes. Let's see, level 20, 20, 20, 20, 19, and 16. Yeah, okay. I don't actually think I've ever had a level 20 hero before. 7 skill points to spend. How about that? Let's go ahead and take our level 15 and our level 20 ability. Is Blink? Sure, why not? Why don't I take Exalt Brilliance, and then we've got the points. Why don't we just make him a mage too? Let's take Exposing Light, Arcane Strength, and a Wisp Familiar, Weaver, and Supreme Magic. Done. Groovy. And then let's do the same thing with the next hero. Oh, let's take Restoration, actually. And then... oh. Interesting. Oh well, not the end of the world. Demon Step? Sure. And then let's take a bunch of skills. That, and take that, and 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 so on. You get the point. I'll go ahead and finish leveling them up, and I'm going to start cranking out normal units, because you know what? I've got 6,000 gold, and, well, I'm going to need to defend myself. So, I'll pick this back up in a minute. I'm probably just going to skip to the end until turn 39, just so that you can see how that victory looked. I'll be right back. Okay, and here we are. It is turn 39 now. I've got 1 turn left until the magic victory is complete. We faced some minor aggression from, what is yellow? From Rakshagi here, but nothing that 6 legendary Shrines of Smiting couldn't handle. We had some invaders spawn a couple of times, but again, nothing 6 level 20 heroes couldn't handle. Yeah, and that's about it. The only thing left to do is to end turn and win the game. So let's go ahead and do that now. And to think, a couple days ago, I was pretty impressed that I was able to do a magic victory in 57 turns. And now I've got it all the way down to 40. That being said, this is a super cheesy and boring method to use. But it works, and it's something that I really think that Triumph needs to fix. Hopefully you haven't encountered anything like this in multiplayer. If you do, I highly recommend that you shame the people that do it. And yeah, just call them out for it, because it's not within the ordinary bounds of the game. As somebody commented in one of my other videos, it might not technically be cheating, but it's certainly not moral. So yeah, Age of Order victory. Turn 40 on brutal difficulty with 8 allied AIs. Let's go ahead and show the journey here. Overall rankings were kind of all over the place, but if we take a look at research, yeah, pretty clear. Wait a minute, is that me? That has to be me. Maybe. What about military? Oh no, there I am. Yeah, I guess my research was kind of in line with everybody else's. That doesn't sound right. Well, whatever. In any case, I won. And let's see how many Pantheon points I get for that. It's going to be a lot. Only 8,600. I thought it might have been more than that, but I guess not. All that is coming from, well, a couple different things. 112 hero level ups, 84 heroes defeated, 78 houses vassalized, and 79 cities conquered. And I don't know what's happening here. It looks like I'm riding an invisible spider. And on that note, I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not going to ask if anybody has found a way to counter this, because frankly, I really don't think there is one. Until this gets patched, it's just going to be, the fastest way to win that I've found, shy of just surrendering to an alliance, which counts as a win, but, this is an actual thing you can do in-game. Anyway, that's all for now. I think this is probably going to be my last Age of Wonders video for a while. I'll probably start recording some EverQuest in the next couple days, since the latest progression server is launching on Wednesday, I believe. So check us out for that, but I will be streaming every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. Central with the rest of the guys. So take care, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next episode.